Hey everybody, it is What to See with Val. I'm Val, and this week on this episode, we are not talking about what movies to see, but we're actually talking about a place to go see. Recently, I was lucky enough to head to South Africa, and I got to go see a bunch of different places, but one of the places I went to basically has just stayed with me since I went there, and I have a special guest, Tebby, here with me today. And Tebby, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Valerie, and how are you doing?
I am doing well, and it's so good to see you. It has been almost 3 months
Yeah, yeah.
since we've been together in Botswana. And Tebby, it is, I mean, you're on the other side of the world from me right now. It is nighttime where you are, and it is the afternoon where I am, but that's what's so great
Oh,
about
wow. Yeah.
being able to connect. Yeah, it's lunchtime. It's almost lunchtime for me, and it's just after dinner for you.
Oh, yeah. This is almost the dinner time here.
Yes, so thank you for taking the time. So I met Tebby when I went to Botswana, and it was my first time on African safari. And I've talked about this a little bit before on a few of my different episodes, is that when I go and travel, I want to travel responsibly. And when I found out I was going to South Africa, Tebby, I was a little bit anxious because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that now are traveling to South Africa, which is really great, but trying to figure out um, the right way to do it can be a little overwhelming for people, because there are a lot of different ways that you can do safari, that you can travel, that you can see your country, and not all of them actually give back to the locals, right?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So, how important is it for you that people really learn how to be a responsible tourist?
Right. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for having me, and greetings all to your viewers. Just before I start, I'll say my name is Tebby. On Safari, I'm known as Tebby. So I grew up in a very small village called Mabele, um, in Botswana, on the southern Africa. So, born, raised in Botswana, living in an area where there are lots of wildlife. Like someone might ask, how do we survive with this wildlife? Always there'll be wildlife conflict. When back to your question, traveling into Botswana and how does that changing people's life here? So I grew up in a very small village. When I was young, I used to walk to school about 7 kilometers every day, and it was difficult to see lots of development coming in. And then we have a trust which we call the Chobe Enclave Conservation Trust that works normally focusing on conservation, protecting these endangered species like elephants, lions, leopards, rhinos. So, and we come up with a plan or strategy. What can we do for the community to benefit from the tourism industry? So we come up with a plan to build a lodge, which we called Ngoma Safari Lodge, the place that you visited last time when you're here. So this place, it's owned by the community. Some of the money that guests pay to stay in here goes into the community, development of the community, connecting water, electricity, medication, you name them. So that's really help, and also that will change the mindset of the locals. When they look into this wildlife, they know this is their investment. They know they're going to benefit into that. So we don't want a situation whereby people, when they look into the elephant or an impala, they think, oh, that's meat. So we want to change the mindset. So when people look into that, they know that's our investment.
I think that's something that, myself as a tourist coming into your country, that I didn't think about, because I'm going and thinking I'm going to see these amazing animals that I could not see anywhere else. And everyone else must think these animals are so precious and so amazing. But the local farmers there, they're trying to keep their farms alive. and
Yeah.
they're trying to keep everything moving, and sometimes these animals can actually be destructive to their property, and so they don't necessarily see these animals the same way that we do, because they have a whole different mindset on we're both trying to survive on this land together, and those animals don't really have any rules. And so what you and this conservation property is trying to do is meld these two things together. So make sure that the farmers and the locals can have their land, can have their farms, but these animals can still roam and not be killed, because sometimes they're being little naughty and destructive, right? So kind of
Yeah.
teaching each other, teaching the animals as much as you can, but mostly teaching the locals that there are different ways that we can all live together, right?
Exactly, exactly. Very important to mention that. It's very important to balance. Okay, we understand locals, they need to eat. Mostly in my village, we rely mostly on agriculture, but we are very close to the park. It's about uh, 10 minutes drive away from the national park. And our national park, there's no fence around. So, like I've said, the lodge is trying. My company, the company I'm working with, they're trying public education, and also myself. We do have a club which we call the Environmental Club of Botswana. That normally we're looking into empowerment. To educate or encourage locals. About environment information, how to look after these animals, and also how to live with elephants, and how can they protect. It's either their farms or their livestock from lions. So how do they survive with that? So 95% of my life, uh, I call myself a bushman. I'm always been in the bush, and I like going out, see people changing when they look into these animals, knowing what is important on that. So we volunteer, we go out to the community, educate them about animal behavior, and also educate them what can they benefit from it. For example, we have a property in Ngoma Safari Lodge, which is a very good example. It's a very good example when it comes to conservation, because we used to have a big problem with wildlife conflict. The lodge is very close to my village, so we used to see elephant going out there, lions, buffaloes. So now people, when they see all these, they know we don't need to shoot these animals. The best way to do, let's avoid them, let's not disturb them, let's respect the comfort zone. And locals, they live peaceful with these wild animals. And also our government is really trying. When you look into Southern Africa, Botswana is doing very well in terms of conservation. We're taking this very serious, because our economy is very strong on tourism. So if we don't do much to protect these animals, most of the rhinos, 2036, they'll be all gone. So we really have to, everyone around the globe, need to do something in terms of conservation.
I think that's important too, because one of, the things that people do when they want to go to Botswana, South Africa, they want to go on safari, is they want to see the big five, right? And one of the big five is the rhino. And the rhino is one that we didn't know until we got to you guys, that actually all of the rhinos have been moved out of your area for safety reasons. Can you talk a little
Yeah,
bit about that?
yeah, thank you very much. Chobe National Park. We are in the Chobe National Park. Our lodge is very close to the park, about 5 minutes away. Chobe National Park is one of the area which used to have rhinos, but because of the problem we had, like early 90s, where we lost quite lots of rhinos, and then our government take a decision to relocate our rhino out in the park. They were kept in a safe place in the central part of the country, just to monitor them and also see that no one is going there into poaching. So those rhinos, they were relocated out of the Chobe National Park. And our government take a decision to split our military into two groups. We have a group of military that work as anti-poaching unit. 24/7, they're out in the park, make sure that these animals are safe, make sure that you don't see any poaching. And also we have very strict rules that no one is allowed to drive at night, no one is allowed to stay or to build any permanent structure within a protected area in the park. So our park is about 11,600 square kilometers. I think it's even bigger than France. So, and is the only area with the highest population of African elephants in the world. So a place like that with so many elephants, you may think that's the place where poachers are going to attack. But, because of the strategies, the policies, we have into the country, that's really helped us because we don't see any poaching taking place in our area. So Chobe National Park is one of the safe places where animals, they live peacefully, they have huge lands, so no one is disturbing them. We need to respect and also educate the people about respecting these animals because we find them here. So this is their space. So we need to always pay attention, respect, not to disturb them, and then we're going to save lots of animals.
The other thing I really loved about what I learned about staying with you guys at Ngoma is it's one of 6 camps, and I
Yeah.
got to stay at 2 of them. I got to stay with you, and then I got to go to the Akavango and stay at your newest one. Is that, like you said, a lot of the money, I think 85% of all the money that goes into the camp goes back to into the community somehow. And one of the things I loved is that when I learned about when the camps were going up is that you're constantly learning about how you can give back from the camp. I remember hearing a story about taking food that actually was purchased for the camp that wasn't used and then taking it back into the community, within a few days to make sure that the community surrounding the camp actually, got to use that food. So the food from the camp didn't go to waste.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Machaba Safaris, we've got about 5 lodges. We have Ngoma Safari Lodge, we have Gomoti Plains, we have Kiri, we have Machaba, and then have Little Machaba and Little Gomoti. So all these camps, all of the money that's paid to stay there, some of the money goes into the development of the community. I'll just mention a few, like we have Gomoti the Plains, one of our camp in the Delta. So our company donated or built a school, a primary school, like a preschool, to one of the village called Ditsiping in that area, which is a good thing, giving back to the community. When I come where I'm working, Goma Safari Lodge, uh, most of our vegetables, you come here for breakfast, your veggies, your eggs, everything we get that from the community, try to support the locals. Try to support the locals. The Kiri camp as well, we do the same stuff. All our veggies, all our produce, we get them from the locals. That's a way of supporting them and also a way of showing them that they're looking after these animals. As for us to operate is because of these animals. For you guys to come all over the world to come here, it's for these animals. So we need to as well to give back into the community. And also, one thing I would like to mention is the staff upliftment. We have a program where, give example with me. When I started working, I started this lodge in 2010 when we built in the lodge. 2011 when we opened, I started as a groundsman, cleaning, watering. I went to scullery, was a maintenance manager, and then I decided to do guiding because that's something which is very close to my heart. And then I'm a guide. So there's so many stuff that we're training so that, just to improve the qualification as well, and just to uplift them to somewhere out there for them to grow with the company, for them to be a part of the product, to be part of the company, to be part of Machaba family, just to be one uniform. So the company is really doing very well in terms of support the community and also make sure that their staff are well trained, give them unnecessary support, take them to schools, which is very, very important, train them for better, so that they know what they're doing.
I love that story, and I love how there's a chance to grow. I remember going into Kiri camp after we left you, and I met a young woman who is the same thing. She came from a village a little bit farther away, and she started in scullery, and now she's front of house, and she wants to move into management. And I said, you know, I hope the next time that I come here, that you're in management, you're too busy to come see me because because you're managing everything. And it
Yeah,
was so
yeah,
nice to be able to come to both of these camps and really get to know everyone and be treated like one of the family. And the food was amazing. I am all about the food. If you follow my food blog, you saw a lot of pictures from the food that I had in South Africa, but it was just amazing and fresh. And knowing that it came from right down the way, you know, and it's made for you there, and everyone there was so nice. And you guys all came to see us every day and talk to us.
yeah,
We made so many friends, you and Sam, and like just keeping that contact. Like you and I, you know, chat back and forth, and you'll send me all of these photos. And you sent me a photo that just really made me excited the other day. And it was you and a crew of people, and you were digging out a water hole. Tell me a
yeah.
little bit about that and what that day is like.
Thank you very much. I'm a safari guide. I'm a tour guide. So I'm trying to give back into as well into these animals, helping them. Chobe National Park is divided into four sections. We have the riverfront, we have Savuti, we have Linyanti, we have Mababe. So in other parts of the Chobe National Park, we have a problem with water. We have water holes which are made so that elephant can drink from the buffaloes, you name them, lions, all these animals. But there was a challenge because we were about from our rainy season, all the sand was like stuck into the water hole, so there was no water for the elephants. So when I took my leave, and grateful for them, for my company as well, to release me, because I just write a letter to them saying I need days off to go and do some work, volunteer work, to volunteer in terms of cleaning the water hole in Savuti. So they give me that time. I went there for a week with I have a team. We formed the association which we call Environmental Club of Botswana. So it's the association that normally looking after these animals, public education, educate about animals, because I grew up in the area. I know how it feels. I know I grew up looking at this, so I need to bring change. So our mission is mindset change. So we're looking into people, telling them the importance of these animals, and we target schools, community at large, and also, like you mentioned, going out there as a team, cleaning the water hole. I remember last year, August, we went as far as like 1,000 kilometers away from where I live. We went there to dig a water hole for these animals. So you can imagine, find the desert where there's a problem with water. So we have to go there, give back into these animals, so that we don't want to lose any of these animals, because they're very, very important. For me to work as a guide is because of these animals. So they bring food into my table. So I have to pay, I am able to pay the school fees for my daughter, looking after my family because of these animals. So I am very, you know, uh, concerned, and try to do something to these animals, giving back into them as well, as a way of appreciating what they give back to me.
I love your dedication, Tebby, because you just said that you asked for time off at work so that you could go volunteer for a week to make sure that these animals who help you feed and educate your daughter can feed themselves, stay hydrated, stay alive. It's this full circle that I love. And I think a lot of people just don't think about. You know, we get so busy in our days and working and paying bills, and most people take time off from work to go on a vacation, and you take time off from work to make sure that the places that we come to see and the animals that we come to see are there, they're healthy, and that everyone can actually get back and give into the system. And I love that dedication. I
Thank
do
you.
want to
Thank you.
talk about some of the great moments that I got to have visiting you in Botswana, because I think, you know, if you ever have the chance to go up to a place like South Africa and you're from, like, I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it is a very beautiful place. But it's totally different. And having this experience, I knew it was going to be amazing, but I didn't know how emotional it was going to make me because I didn't want to leave. And since I have left, I have wanted to go back. There's this, like, South Africa pulls at you. Botswana is
Yeah.
like pulling at me, and part of my heart is still there. Um, and and it's because of people like you. You know, you were there with us every day, talking to us about the areas, and then taking us into the wild and teaching us about these animals, not just the big five, but all of the different animals and birds and insects and everything that's there that's working together. But one of my most favorite moments is we were out, and I think it was like our third day, our second,
Yeah.
maybe our second day, I can't remember. And I feel like we had seen every elephant that was in Chobe, and we
Yeah.
were hurrying around a corner, and we ran into this pack of sleeping elephants, and I had no idea that elephants slept standing up. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think about it because it makes total sense, but I want to take us off screen for a second so everyone can see this picture of these elephants that we, like, just ran into and we didn't expect. So those were, like, we came around this corner and we had no idea they were there, and we're
Yeah.
literally like right here, they're right in front. Like, I could have reached out and touched them. And elephants are such a family, and they take care of each other. And what you taught me and showed me on this trip um, is how much that they work together, very much like our families work together. You know, when
Yeah.
there are babies, and I saw so many baby elephants while I was there, they take care of the babies together. You know, you have the old and the young and the babies, and just this one that's off to the left of me that's sleeping with his head up against the tree was such, like, I don't know, it was just this magical moment that we got to experience. And you just pulled us up and we're just sitting there, just like being a part of this moment that was just so magical to me. And you said that it never gets old.
Yeah. You know, animals, elephants are one of my favorite animal. I think you know that.
Yes.
So I love the elephants. One of my favorites. I love them all, but elephants and the baboons are one of my favorite animals. Uh, when you talk about elephant, I remember the day when we come like on the corner, we find them just stand on the side. You know, yeah, they can sleep standing. You know, that tells you how relaxed elephants are in Chobe, and they feel very safe around us, and then we feel very safe. So what I have to do as a guide, so before I approach the animals, first I have to see the behavior as I approach, and then I'll tell if the elephant is just relaxed, calm. Make sure that I approach at a very low speed so that I don't disturb the elephants, and I have to switch off my vehicle so that the elephant doesn't feel irritated by the engine running. And very important as well, when you go in other countries, you go to South Africa, I'll give an example. When you go on a safari, you carry a rifle. So we don't carry rifles in our game drive vehicles. So there is one reason why we don't carry rifles. You know, elephants are one of the animals that they've got amazing sense of smell, and they never forget the good and the bad. So carrying a rifle, that will give elephants that distress, because they lost some of their family members because of the gun from poachers. So they can smell that gunpowder. Whenever you approach with a gun, they become more aggressive, try to charge the vehicle. So we try not to carry any rifle in our national parks or game reserves, just for the safety of these animals. We don't want to disturb them. We want them to feel relaxed, to feel safe around us. Whenever they come and they can smell that gunpowder, they start remembering. We lost one of our family because of this smell around here, and they become more aggressive, charging. So you saw how relaxed these elephants were. Very relaxed. They don't even, scared of us being close to them. So they were just relaxed. So that's how amazing safari in Chobe or in Botswana is, because you have to go, you come very close to these animals. You know, some of the things like the eyelashes, you can't see them from a distance. You use your bino, but if you are close, you can see how beautiful those long eyelashes are, and it's very, very important as well.
I love that. There we got so close to so many things. I remember um, the night that we got to see the Lion Brothers. And
Yeah,
you were determined that we were going to see these lions.
yeah, yeah.
And
I remember. Yeah,
we went up in and we found them sleeping, and you just pulled right in. But again, I think it's that, like, you are there and you're respecting the animals over and over again, and the people that you bring in, you educate them to respect the areas that they're in, the animals that are around them. And so we
yeah.
did get very close. Now when I went into Kiri, because Kiri is the newest um, park for you
Camp. Yeah,
guys, you've been there for like a year, those animals are
yeah,
still getting to know us, still getting to know what's going around. And so when we would pull up to the zebras or giraffes, the giraffes kind of lean in and look at you like, what are you doing? Like, why are you bothering me while I'm eating lunch? But like the zebras would run away, because, yeah, they're still, I mean, these are still wild animals. We are in
yeah,
their
yeah,
area, we are guests at their
yeah,
home.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it was
exactly.
just so neat to see, just even from where you were when we came to visit you, and then going over to the Okavango Delta, is it's not very far away, but it's so different of a landscape. You have so many different
Oh,
landscapes in South Africa. It is absolutely amazing. And depending on what season you go, you're going to see different things.
exactly. Botswana is one of the beautiful countries. The landscape, our camps, Gomoti, Machaba, the main camp, Kiri, and Ngoma. You got amazing, amazing landscape. When you go to Gomoti, you see these flat plains, open areas, lots of palm trees. When you go to Machaba, you have the very one of the amazing area I like in Kwai area, which is in Machaba, is when you cross. Safari is amazing. I love safari. I love go out. I love taking go out in the bush. You do these funny things in the bush. Driving in the water, like crossing the channel, is amazing. The animals, the landscape, the Mukoro, it's beautiful. You go to Kiri as well, it's a beautiful landscape. The sunset, the sunrise, the trees. Oh, that's amazing. All our properties, they've got different landscape. You come into Ngoma, you see this when you go into the entrance, $1 million view. Now it's beautiful because it's flooded, lots of water. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You come during dry season, we have that big migration of zebra, where most of the people they don't know that we do have the migration of animals like zebras. So they only know about the Serengeti and Tanzania. And then we have the third largest migration of zebras down here in front of our lodge, from the salt pen coming to the Chobe River front. There'll be lots and lots of them during dry season. Uh, you know, Thousands of elephants. See them coming up close to your room, drinking from the plunge pool. Like this afternoon before we go out on the drive, my guests were sitting in the room, and there was this breeding head of elephant. They just drained the swimming pool. There was nothing left in the pool, and that's amazing. That's amazing. We find them here. We try not to disturb them. If they come up here, we leave them to drink water and they go. You know, because this is their area, this is their place. So it's amazing. All our properties. You go to Machaba, Gomoti, Kiri, Ngoma, they're different landscape, beautiful animals. Oh, it's amazing cat sites in Machaba and Kiri and Gomoti place.
Well, I cannot wait to go back. I definitely want to be there for the wet season because you know that I'm a bird lover and I want to
Yeah,
get out
yeah.
on the boats and I want to get on the water and I want to see the birds. We did have some fun with some hippos when we were out on the water, which was, there were so many hippos. It was so much
Love,
fun.
love, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, seeing all the zebras at Kiri Camp was amazing. And there were so many giraffes. I've never seen that many giraffes in, one spot. And I think it's, people usually go to a zoo and
yeah,
you're going to see, one or two things and you're kind of moving along and, but when you're actually on, on safari and you're out in the bush and you're in it, it's so much fun. I think we were driving and we had just passed some elephants and then you know one of my favorite, and I didn't know this until I got there, but I love the wild beast. I think outside of the elephant is my favorite, is seeing that the wild beast is so much personality and
yeah.
just coming up on a wild beast and you can feel their presence, which is just so
Exactly,
amazing. And
exactly.
the sky is so big, like in the United States we have some amazing features, and in Utah we have big skies. Montana say that they're a big sky and it's beautiful, but you get to South Africa and the sky, regardless of where you're turning, it just takes you in, and it's so much to see. um, and I just appreciate you like spending time with me today. I can't wait to come back. And everybody that's watching, please leave your comments if you have any questions for us. I know that we'll come back and look, and I will make sure that I put links to where you can get a hold of Tebby. And I'll put links to all the different camps. Because I know a lot of people, like for me, again, I want to travel, I want to learn about the world. I want to make sure that where I'm traveling to, it's not just about me. It's about me learning about where I'm going and giving
Yeah,
back to the area, not just going and being a tourist, but being a responsible
yeah.
tourist. If I'm going to spend
So
money to
exactly.
go somewhere, I want that money to be staying with the locals. That's
Yeah,
really important to me. And so, um, this, I'm not paid to do this. I did this because I wanted to and I wanted everybody to meet you and to learn about how important conservation and safaris are. Learning about different places that you can stay that actually gives back, because there are a lot of places that you can spend money in traveling on a safari in places like South Africa, and that money does not stay in the community at all. It stays
yeah, yeah,
exactly with the tourist um, company, and a lot of times those tourist companies aren't even located in South Africa. That money
yeah,
goes right outside the country, right? So they
yeah.
take advantage, they leave a bad footprint, and none of that
Yeah,
money stays.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hosting me once again. I really appreciate. Um, you know, Thank you as well for visiting. Some of your money that you paid goes right into the community, helping the kids at school, helping medication. Uh, you know, if you like to visit, Botswana is one of the safe country to visit. Best safari activities around. Like you said, we have like 5 lodges. We have Gomoti, we have Ngoma, we have Machaba, we have Kiri Camp. So they're amazing places. They're amazing places. If you want to visit those camps, uh, just go into our website, www.machaba.com, machabasafaris.com. And if you want to get hold of me on Facebook, I do safari live videos out briefly, though, just for my guests as well to see what I'm doing and how Botswana is. And feel free to follow me on Facebook. Tebogo Simasiku is my name. I know it's difficult,
I'll
but
make sure I put it in the comment section so that people can grab it. Yeah.
exactly. So you can just follow me on Facebook. I'll keep you posted. If you have any question, please, I'm always available. Um, it's peak season, but I'm always available. Feel free to travel to Africa. It's one of the safe place. And remember, some of the money that you pay brings life back into the community.
Thank you so much, Tebby. And I love seeing all of your adventures, and I loved being a part of a little bit of your adventure. And hopefully, I will be back there next year during wet season. Um, so I can see a different side of it. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Please be a responsible tourist. I will be back here talking about movies as well, because it is a big movie weekend. It's Memorial Weekend in the United States, so big movies. Tebby, Little Mermaid comes out this weekend. It comes out today. Do you?
Okay.
There's lots of under the sea animals in that
Yeah,
movie.
thank you. Thank you very much. And yeah, I think I really appreciate
Yeah.
that, and thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.